I'm joined in the studio with Neil Golding from Westlands. He's going to be talking all about the Three Peaks Challenge. Good evening, Neil, and welcome along to the show.
Thank you, Daniel. Good evening.
Firstly, can you tell us a little bit more about the Three Peaks Challenge for our listeners?
Yes, it's an exercise that we've taken upon ourselves to complete for charity this year. We're going out in June, which is very soon now, and it involves us climbing up 3 mountains in 24 hours. So it's quite a daunting prospect.
Yep. Where is the challenge going to be carried out?
We start off at Ben Nevis in Scotland, climb that one in a few hours, then we get back in our minibuses and travel down to Scafell Pike in the Lake District, climb that one, hopefully, and then we get back in our cars and minibuses and head off to North Wales to climb Mount Snowdon. The challenge starts when we take our first step up Ben Nevis, and it finishes in the bottom of Snowdon, and we've got to finish that in just 24 hours. That includes driving time.
Neil, firstly, could you tell us a little bit about your role at Westlands?
Yeah, I'm a deputy head teacher at Westlands. Westlands is a school in Sittingbourne, but many of the pupils come from the island. Indeed, many of the teachers and staff come from the island, so there's quite a lot of local interest there. And I wear lots of different hats at the school, but one of the more interesting ones is staff wellbeing, where I sort of try and get activities for staff to make sure they don't have too much stress in their jobs, and I think that's where probably the idea for this challenge came about.
How did the challenge come about?
Well, we wanted, I certainly wanted something to do, a physical challenge. I'm not really up to running marathons anymore and that sort of thing. I wanted something to do, and I spoke to a few people about this particular challenge, and they thought it would be rather nice to come along too. So we put it out to the wider staff to see how many people would be interested, and it turned out there were quite a lot of people, around about 30 people wanted to do it, which was far too many for the organisation involved. But as time went on and the details got more and more planned, and people realised the sheer scale of what it is we're trying to do, numbers got condensed to around about sort of 16, 17 people. We're now down to a team of 14 because a couple have had to pull out due to other circumstances, but we've now got a team of 14 and 2 drivers who are going to take us around the country in between the mountains.
Neil, how long will the challenge take, and where will the team be staying?
Well, the challenge itself is to be done in 24 hours. That's the whole idea of it, to do 3 mountains in 24 hours. We'll be staying overnight at the foot of Ben Nevis. We have some accommodation booked in some sort of hostel there, and we don't put our heads down on our pillows again until we finish in North Wales, which will be obviously 24 hours later, and we've got a nice hotel with a bar and restaurant attached for when we finish, because I think we're going to need it at that point.
How are you going to be preparing?
Preparing's been a real challenge because it's a very specific type of fitness that's needed for this. You know, I've spoken to some friends and colleagues who have done this challenge before, and I'm told that the biggest challenge is more of a mental than physical challenge. So it's hard to prepare for it, but we've also got some people in the team who are very keen runners and who are quite naturally fit, but as I say, walking that sort of amount of time, that distance is very specific, and of course it's not walking on the flat, it's walking up mountains and down mountains. I'm told that the down parts are perhaps even harder. So what we've been doing is been having training sessions after school on a Friday to do some circuit training, some bits of light running, and then we just extended as the weather starts to improve. We've been out for a few training walks locally. One took us around the villages of Sittingbourne, near where the school is. That was quite challenging for me, certainly, and getting around. We've been doing our own sort of walks in training. I recently walked from the island, my home in Minster, to Faversham, from my parents' house in Faversham, which took 4 hours, which is quite hard going in the rain. And then this Friday we're going out again to try and take in some serious hill work to try and get the pace and the climbing right. So yeah, it's very hard to prepare. There's not too many mountains in Kent to work on, but we try and find as many sort of inclines as we can to work on.
And Neil, when is the challenge taking place?
Okay, the challenge, we leave Kent, we leave school on the 2nd of June. That's during half-term break. Clearly we're not going to use school time to do this. We're giving up our half-term holidays to go up on the Wednesday, arriving in Scotland sometime that night, and then ready to start the challenge during the day on the Thursday, clearly finishing on the Friday, and then coming back home on the Saturday, ready to face school on the Monday, all being well. So it should be with aching limbs, I'm sure.
Yep. What charities are you supporting?
Yeah, we felt it was important not just to do it for the challenge itself, but to do something for charity. And what we're doing is we targeted the two charities that we support as a school. It's the two charities that our pupils wanted us to support. One is Demelza House, which is obviously very near to us in Sittingbourne, and the other one is Teenage Cancer Care, which we felt was close to our heart, as one of our pupils sadly died of cancer a few years ago. So we wanted to support those charities, and what we're hoping to do by completing this challenge is that we're hoping that every pupil in the school will support us to the tune of maybe it's £5 each, and the staff can be a little bit more, perhaps £10 each, and that will move us towards our target of £10,000. So if there's anybody out there who would like to help us with sponsorship of the actual walk, it would be much appreciated, and we'll go to very good causes.
What help are you getting towards the challenge?
Well, we are looking for any sort of help, but we are largely funding this ourselves, and it needs obviously petrol money. We need accommodation costs, which we are at the moment footing ourselves. We have to buy certain amounts of equipment ourselves, and food and so on. But if anybody out there to assist with the fuel that we use getting up there, and in our minibuses, and with our accommodation costs, it will be really, really helpful to us. We're not going to take away the money from the charities. We're prepared to spend our own money, but if help is available, clearly we would like to use that. We have had some help from some local companies, if I'm allowed to name them. Tesco's are interested in helping us, and we've had help from Sparshats in Sittingbourne in terms of helping us with a minibus and some fuel. So we're very grateful for those companies. But if there's anybody else out there who can help us with our sort of essential costs, we'd be very pleased to hear from them.
How can our listeners get in contact with you?
Well, they can contact me through by telephone at the school, which number is 01795 477 475, and ask for me, Neil Golding, or they can email me ngo@westlands.kent.sch.uk.
Neil, I'd like to thank you very much for coming along this evening and telling us all about the Three Peaks Challenge.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks for having me.
That's Neil Golding here at the Monday Night Community Show, telling us all about the Three Peaks Challenge this evening.